Okay, so in our previous segment we talked about things that were falling straight down. Now we want to talk about things that are sliding downhill. And our first example is going to be creep. And so it's going to be defined to be the slow, gradual, downslope movement of regolith as a result of freezing and thawing, wetting and drying, or warming and cooling. So all of these mechanisms will be ways of causing creep. So first of all, it says it's slow. So this is something that if you go out and you look at the ground, you're not going to see anything. So you're not going to see the soil moving downhill. On the other hand, if you go out and you look at the same patch day after day, month after month, you would start to see a difference. So this is a very, very slow process of creep. And the next thing is it's the movement of regolith. So regolith is going to be rock pieces. It can also be soil. And it's going to be moving downhill as a result of freezing and thawing, wetting or drying, warming or cooling. So let's do first an example of something that is freezing and thawing. So here's your slope. Here's a material, and then let's say it gets some water underneath it, and then that water freezes. So we know that when water freezes, it expands, and so this little piece of soil or whatever is going to be pushed outwards perpendicular to the surface. Okay, then when it when it warms up and it thaws, okay, it's no longer going to be expanded, and it's going to start to go back to where it came from, but gravity is going to pull it that way. So the soil begins up here, but then after this freeze-thaw event, now the soil is down here. And so after multiple freezings and thawing, all of this soil has a tendency to be moving downhill. Okay, the same thing can happen if something gets wet and then it dries. So when it gets wet, the water is going to push it out a little bit, and then when it dries, gravity is going to take over and it's going to pull it down a little bit. Same thing for episodes of things that are warming up and then things that are cooling down. So the net effect is that this material is very slowly going to move downhill. So how do you know that soil creep has occurred? So that's illustrated in that last picture. And so one thing is going to be the movement of trees. So a tree normally is going to be straight up and down like this. So there's my tree. Okay, but if the ground is moving out from underneath it, what you're going to see is that the trunk is going to start to bend in that direction. So the next time that you go out and you're in a forest where it's very hilly, look at the bases of the trees and see if they're not bent that way. Another thing is fences could be bent out of position as a result of this soil creep. You'll notice that the ground kind of looks like you've taken a rug and have wrinkled it up. So you can see that those wrinkles are caused by that soil that has moved downhill. So that's one example of material that is sliding at a very slow rate. Okay, the next one is, this one is going to be called solifluction. And so this is going to be a type of creep that is going to occur where you have permafrost. So areas in the northern countries in Canada where the ground is permanently frozen. So you're going to have a layer of permafrost down here where the ground is always frozen. But above it is going to be another layer which during the summer it's going to thaw, and then during the winter time it's going to freeze. And so during the times when this thing thaws, it has the ability to move down slope, and then during the winter time it freezes up and it stays put. So in that picture that is there, you can see these layers of soil that are very slowly moving downhill as a result of this. Okay, another one is going to be called slump. Now this one is faster. So the soil creep and this one is going to be very slow. So you are going to notice it over a period of months to years. But this one is going to be something that's going to be, it's a slow moving event. You are going to see it happen, but you can normally outrun it. And it's a slow moving mass wasting event in which an entire section of ground moves down slope as a unit. So the entire ground breaks and then just slides down like that. So that's going to be called slump. All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to look at an even faster event.